Well, Adriana Medina from the Department of Modern Languages, Linguistics, and Intercultural Communication. My class is MLL 305, Intercultural Communication, and my problem was it's been to figure out how to merge the face-to-face time and the online seamlessly. So I'll show you. I'm actually starting to have fun with this and believing. I'm becoming a believer, and I think now I'm going to have my face-to-face students. Yeah, I know. I think that I'm going to ask my face-to-face students to do some of the things that now I'm developing for Blackboard, because I just had fun. This is non-verbal communication. So they have to do, as you can see here, I just have a very small introduction, and then the step one, this is what they have to do after reading the chapter, and this is the name of the chapter. Go to the discussion board called, this is the name, and then you're going to find 7 categories, and what you need to do is the following. You need to post in your own words a definition of the category. So we have categories: artifacts and clothing. Well, the categories are here: proxemics, haptics, gestures, facial expressions. So they write in their own words, so that's kind of the review part. And then, since we're doing hybrid and they're going to be online, I'm thinking, well, now I'm going to try to really use that fact. So they have to, part 2 is to use 2 graphic examples that will represent that category. So they're going to say to me in words, and then show it to me, going to the internet, look for pictures, graphics, whatever. So I have my example. My category is gestures. This is my definition. And in my example, I'm using greetings. So this is what the student would write. This is an example for them. So I have Japanese bowing, and then I have French kissing, so different types of greeting. So pretty much that's that. They go to control panel, to the discussion board, and they see it right there when it appears. Nonverbal communication, and they have the categories right there. So they're each. So So you go to time management, and you put your definition there, and and 2 pictures, and that's that. That's that. I'm having my middle name be Simplicity. I think it works. I think. Okay. Well, my student said. That it focuses on a single concept, that it's the assignment to post a visual. It will allow the students to actually go through the internet and think about the concept and see what's most representative. She liked it. What she reminded me to do is to cite my sources, so I went back and I did that. So since I'm asking the students to do that. And the my colleague said that it was okay. I think he didn't read the first instruction well, because he didn't understand why he had to go to the discussion board. So after going back and forth with his feedback, because I said, I went there and I actually do say that. So what I did was I reformatted it. Let me,
go outside of the control panel. Go through the course.
oh.
You're navigating everything through the control panel.
Oh, I see. Okay. So what I did after talking to him, I formatted the paragraph differently. So it's obvious what they need to post and what they need to do, because it was just one paragraph. So after seeing this confusion, I just made sure that
A suggestion.
Sure.
I can show you like in 2 seconds, but where you have discussion board in bold, right there, you need to make a link to the discussion board.
Okay.
It's very easy to do. You go and hover over the discussion board, right click with your mouse, you'll go to copy link, you'll go to edit that and make a link on the word discussion board. A lot of times, this is just basic web kinds of things, but when you find yourself telling people how to get somewhere on the web, 9 times out of 10 they won't.
Okay.
You want to make the link so it's an obvious choice.
Okay.
So if you make that a link
Sure.
instead of a bold
Sure.
and with the direction of navigate to X, Y, and Z,
Yeah.
people read the web in a very scanning,
Mhm.
quickly kind of way. So anything that's a link, they'll pay more attention to.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
That's a good idea.
So that's it. 3 minutes.
Is there supposed to be any interaction between the students with the examples they found, since you're using a discussion board in which it's public? Are you
No, no,
filming?
well, the discussion board is just to post it.
Just to have
No,
you
we're not
post
going
it
to have a
see it.
discussion because we're going to have the discussion in the class.
Okay.
But this is just to post their work there, and so the other students can go and also see the different examples.
Okay.
And one thing that I do ask them to do is to do their work first and then see like afterwards. But you know, if they needed to see more examples just to get ideas, I'm fine with that. So in this particular case, it's not, the discussion would be in the classroom.
Are any of those categories more difficult, having not read chapter 8 of Ting, Tuni, and Chong?
Sure.
You know, are any of those 7 categories kind of more difficult for students to get than other ones? Or are you gonna sort of scan this before you go to class, so if there's a particularly interesting example, you can illustrate that when you actually have your discussion in the next class? Or, because you're having them do this outside of class, presumably in preparation for
Yeah.
when they come back in face-to-face.
Yeah,
So how are you gonna link what they've done here to what you do face-to-face?
yeah. I would choose a couple of examples
Okay.
of what they did and talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing, I know we're running out of time, just because April's raised a good question. I see a lot of faculty using the discussion board as a common posting place, not necessarily a communication exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is and if you think about it, this is the only place in a Blackboard course where students can author content. There's nowhere else that they can write something that's in common view. And so we're going to use the
Class wiki.
discussion board.
Course wiki.
The wiki is where you might want to start looking at, because now here's a common authoring place where people can put things in. The other thing that I would recommend, and I don't know if you can pull up your discussion board, but there is a setting in discussion boards. It's not enabled by default, but if you enable it, it allows people to subscribe to the discussion board and get an email alert when anything new has been posted to it. This is a useful tool because what it does, Blackboard relies on people coming to it. And unless they come to it, they think there's nothing there. So in a lot of ways, you have to figure out ways to push content back out to people to alert them. The discussion board subscription will do that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because what I usually do, especially when I post something, announcements and stuff, I send an email to the students and I tell them,
Yeah.
I just did something, go and check, okay.
It's in any discussion forum. It's not enabled by default. I think it should be, but Blackboard doesn't do it. You have to go
Okay,
actively
I
put it in. Once you've done it, then people can subscribe.
Okay.
That doesn't mean they will, but if you do, it
Can we
alerts them.
subscribe?
Yeah, you can subscribe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or by
Yes.
default
For your-
alone, so.
It's
For
a
your
great
face-to-face
way-
discussions, I was thinking that maybe you should have the students come ready to comment on some of the things that they saw when they looked at somebody else's.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, so you might make that part of what they have to do when they're online. They do their own, then they go and look at somebody else's
Yeah.
and make a comment about that.
So
And
they
that could
don't
help in the
present
discussion.
their own, they actually comment on, we bring it up and they show it and say,
Yeah, so they've looked at their own and they've looked at somebody else's as well.
thank you, that's an awesome
And if they've
idea.
used that on the discussion board, then that is utilizing the discussion feature,
Right,
like
yeah.
April was recommending, where there's
So here's my post and here's what I thought of somebody else's.
Else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you.